We never know where life will lead us or what may hinder us along the way. But while every day can feel like one big question mark, it doesn't have to. With the right insights, strategies, and solutions from Western and Southern Financial Group, together we can look ahead to leave the unknown behind.
College football is changing forever, Mike. That's what I'm hearing on the streets. Am I wrong to think that?
Changing for the worst.
Stop.
This is the end of an era as we know it.
Stop.
It's never going to be the same. Go back to the old days.
This is ridiculous. Jackson State, a.k.a. Deion Sanders State, FCS school, steals Travis Hunter, the number 1 overall recruit, according to 24/7 Sports, the top cornerback in the class, away from his alma mater, Florida State. There are people online burning Florida State Deion Sanders jerseys. There are people on an active Twitter space asking for Mike Norvell to be fired.
That was pretty hilarious.
That was hilarious. Yeah. Absolutely hilarious. All because Jackson State is unloading. Well, Deion Sanders State is unloading an unreal bag for Travis Hunter via NIL deals, whatever, all legal, all above the books, to go to Jackson State. Are you shocked by this? And I guess what's your reaction overall?
I would go to Jackson State if Deion just promised me some of those sick shades he wears on the side.
Fair.
Those are dope. I need to find out where to get those. I obviously couldn't pull them off, but I would like to try. I think I can.
You can.
Yeah, I know I can. Now, obviously, there's not actually been reported numbers as of now in terms of what kind of NIL deal he is getting or if he's getting any. But I do think this is what I said when the whole NIL thing came about. I think to a degree, this levels the playing field from a recruiting perspective. If you want to kind of go all in on top end talent, like you can go be a big thing in Boise for a couple of years. You can go be a big thing in Jackson State for a couple of years instead of, he goes to Bama. I don't know how good necessarily this guy is, but if you go to one of the Blue Bloods, you might ride the Pines for a couple of years, or you might not be a first year starter. I do wonder though, if it's going to be I'll say Quinn Ewers-esque decision where you go to a place where you're getting a bag, you're getting whatever X million of dollars,
and you're with Deion Sanders,
and you're with Deion Sanders, and you're obviously the decisions making names. Everyone in America knows his name right now. After if he would have just gone to Florida State, no one would have given a shit about who he is. I mean, like a lot of people still would have, but not as nearly as many people as do now. And then come next offseason, shit, you can transfer wherever you want. You can go get another bag.
Yeah.
You can go say who's the highest bidder yet again to go get an NIL deal and go somewhere else. I do wonder if that could be a situation that we're going to see play out here, because if you're saying, is this the best decision for a guy in his future to go to Jackson State? And yes, he's going to get developed by Deion Sanders, but purely, if we're even just doing a purely financial look at this, say it is $1.5 million and someone else was offering $500,000. Say it's $1 million decision that he's making right now. That will be made up come draft time if you play at an Alabama and LSU, a blue blood that is going to actually, and not even just from a developmental standpoint, from an NFL draft perspective, no one is going to take you top 5 if you dominate at the FCS level as a defensive back. Maybe as a quarterback, if we have the tools, whatever. We've seen that. As a defensive back, though, last one to go in the first round even from the FCS was 2008, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. Hasn't been happening in a decade. So
was that Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie or Antonio?
Yeah, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. Antonio went to Florida State, actually.
Oh, wow.
Take that full circle.
I'm sorry.
But Travis Hunter, if he were to go to, just saying like he balls out at Jackson State, what kind of NFL GM or, evaluator is going to trust that enough that he's, the level of competition he's playing against to say, I'm going to make you a top 5 pick. Whereas Derek Stingley is going to be a top 5 pick off of goddamn his freshman tape alone, basically.
At LSU.
At playing in the playoffs, playing in the SEC, that sort of thing. So I will say, I do wonder if he does stay through all 3/4 years there.
I have a few reactions and comments on this. One, the NIL deals and the transfer portal combination above all, helps the players. And that's what this is about. It's about helping 18-year-olds the most, right? It's not about Alabama. It's not about any coach. It's not about the programs. It's about players being in control. 18-year-olds. People keep referring to these guys as kids. And yeah, sure, they are young. But these are 18-year-olds making financial decisions for themselves. And obviously, chase your bag. Go after the $1.5 billion. And what I hope is, and I'm reading the tea leaves a bit, what I hope is Deion Sanders did not pitch this as, hey, it's $1.5 million now, and you are in 3-4 years are going to change Jackson State forever, because very difficult for him to do, and pinning him to Jackson State for 4 years, not giving him that opportunity, that obvious opportunity that he'll probably chase, and pursuing a Power 5 blue blood program in the future to improve his draft stock, I think would be ridiculous. What I hope happened was, hey, let's change Jackson State this year. Deion Sanders might not even be coaching at Jackson State in 2023, 2024 at the rate that he's changing college football and able to, the connections he has and stuff like that. What I do think another change for this will be, though, college coaches, what matters most is who you can recruit. And you see what Jimbo Fisher is doing at Texas A&M and recruiting like a wild man. And he just went on the Feinbaum show. He went on the Feinbaum podcast and or Feinbaum show, radio show, and said, NIL, things like this, these NIL deals have been happening forever. They just weren't legal. And the guys, he said something along the lines of, the guys who've been doing it for a long time get it. And like, that's Jimbo Fisher in a lot of ways, right? Like Jimbo Fisher's at Texas A&M. He's got 5 of the top 8 recruits because he's doing legal money handing to kids. Exactly. This ain't his first rodeo. He's been doing this for a long time, and other coaches have as well. Deion Sanders is so primely positioned in his prime to do this because he has connections to sponsors. He's worked with other sponsors before in the deals that he's done. So he's in such a unique position. Even if he isn't an X's and O's guy, this guy he doesn't have to watch a lick of tape. If he can get the number 1 quarterback in the country to go to Jackson State, you give this guy an opportunity to coach any Power 5 team in the program, he is going to make fucking waves. And that, in my opinion, what ultimately will become what is the most important trait of a college head coach. Yeah,
that's what I bet is the ultimate sort of what happens with all this, is that he brings the stars, the guys that he's recruited there,
exactly,
to a Power 5 program.
Deion pitches shortly, him,
but
Deion is pitching Sanders. He's not. He's pitching Sanders State. He's not pitching Jackson State. And he's like, if I go anywhere, you're coming with me, and we're making this happen.
Because my brother used to live in Jackson, Mississippi, with his wife. I visited him. It's the worst city I've ever been in my life. And that is not an exaggeration. He actually sent me this Reddit thread asking.
Worse than Cincy.
Asking what's the worst city in America. And the top comment on the Reddit thread was, I assume you mean what's the worst city in America outside of Jackson, Mississippi, because everyone knows it's Jackson.
That's incredible.
Having been there, like I was like, hey, like where's like, the restaurant district, where are we going? He's like, there's not one. You couldn't drive the speed limit on most roads, because there's too many potholes and too many holes. Like you cannot go 30 or else you're going to risk just blowing your tires out on the roads.
Really?
Yes. It was difficult to stay in for a weekend. So
that's incredible.
Feel bad for the man.
Oh man. DeAndre Hopkins is the other catching early buzz here. DeAndre Hopkins is out for the regular season with a sprained knee. Now, last time we checked, I believe, so Cardinals are coming off a loss against the Rams, still in a very good position to make the playoffs. I don't think them falling out is even even possible, let alone likely. And I think they don't have a tough schedule down the stretch, right? I think they're 13-point favorites over the Bears, the Lions this week on the road.
They play the Cowboys and the Colts. They have a tough schedule.
Okay, I guess they do have a tough schedule. So I guess how big of a deal is this for Deion? And the Seahawks at home is no slouch. When you got Russell Wilson on the other side, I guess it will be after the Lions game, a tougher schedule. Dallas, Colts at home, and then Seahawks at home. Where's your head at on how much this impacts Arizona?
I think you can kiss the 1 seed goodbye.
Fair.
That's just not happening, especially with the Bucs schedule. Bucs aren't losing. I would be floored if the Bucs dropped a game down the stretch. You can kiss the 1 seed goodbye.
They have the easiest schedule according to PFF down the stretch. The Bucs.
Yeah, it's cakewalk. And shit, they are at risk of the division at this point after having dropped that to the Rams. Now, if they drop 2 more, which Colts, Cowboys, without DeAndre Hopkins, those are very losable games. Now, I don't think they will. I think they still win the West, but that's a massive injury. And it's more if you're already ruling him out for the regular season, like that's already the timetable. Chances of him being back for that first playoff game, because you're not getting the bye. Like I just said, they're not getting the 1 seed. Chances of getting him back for that first playoff game looking slim. So if you are the 3, you are going to be playing probably the 49ers. Like, that's not going to be an easy game to win without DeAndre Hopkins. So
now, are you saying right now, like, just correct me if I'm wrong, I guess. Are you saying Aaron Rodgers is going to be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy when it's all said and done? I think is that what you're hinting at, I guess? Well,
I mean, I've been hinting at that all year. But I do think the Bucs right now have the best chance to 1 seed in the NFC. The Packers obviously may catch a break with Lamar Jackson, but then they have the Browns still, which they may catch a break with the COVID stuff with the Browns on Christmas Day. And then they have the Vikings. Like, they have losable games that you could drop. The Bucs just do not. Here's the Bucs schedule here down the stretch. Saints at home, which Saints are the teams that have given them problems. Panthers on the road, Jets on the road, Panthers at home. That 4 non-playoff teams right there. That's, you would think they go 4-0.
Last thing here, COVID outbreak season is what I had here. Browns are reeling. Washington football team, I think, put 17 players on the COVID list. This is absurd. I think the biggest team that's seeing movement in from a betting perspective is the Browns. The Browns on the Saturday slate open as 6.5-point favorites at home over the Las Vegas Raiders. They're now 1.5-point dogs. With Baker Mayfield expected out, I think there's rumors that Case Keenum could be a close contact. We could see Nick Mullins quarterbacking this Browns team against the Raiders. And the Raiders are still only 1.5-point favorites, which is sad. But still, I think the Browns might be screwed here. And the Browns, they're in a position to steal the AFC North or whatever, but if they lose this one, this is a tough spot to be in, right?
And
This
it's
is
not
a tough
just
spot.
them. Stefanski's out too.
Oh, yeah. Coach is out,
Coach is out. Their head coach, once again, sidelined with COVID. The dude cannot catch a break with the timing of his COVID, even though last year they obviously win the game with him on the sideline, the wild card there against the Steelers. But, Jesus.
Browns have Raiders at home. They're 1.5-point dogs on Saturday. Then the Packers on the road.
I'll be there.
Steelers on the road, which is never a slouch. Then the Bengals at home, and the Bengals have been overperforming all season long. That is a tough stretch of games.
Bengals have not been overperforming.
No one expected them to win 7 games. I think their win total was 6.
Well, they've not been overperforming.
Fair. Fine. You don't think the Bengals are more competitive than people thought originally?
This is what I thought.
You thought they were going to be shit?
Let's get to the games.
All right, let's get to the games. Chiefs at Chargers, game of the week, Thursday night.
But it's not anymore because Rashawn Slater's out.
You think that's everything?
I mean, I think that's a massive. You got Rashawn Slater out, and you have the short week. Like, it should have been the game of the week, but it's all of a sudden turned into Chargers really bucking behind the 8 ball here on a short week. Obviously, at home helps, but I have to go Chiefs in this one. No, without your 2 starting tackles, I just don't care who you are. That's a difficult hill to climb, to overcome, especially against the Chiefs, man, with the way that defense is playing.
I am all in on the Chiefs here. I was considering making a pretty healthy bet on the Chiefs money line, but I think even taking the 3.5. Chargers are 3.5-point dogs on the road or at home. Rashawn Slater out. I'll say this: Chiefs are the hottest team in the NFL right now. Offense, obviously coming off a beatdown against the Raiders, and the Raiders are a slump buster for any team in the NFL, but still, offense is top 5 in the NFL. It has been for a bulk majority of the season. Defensively, though, it's legitimately a top 3 defense in the NFL since week 5 in EPA per play allowed. They have limited opposing offenses significantly. It has been
Steve Spagnuolo's a wizard.
Yeah, complete turnaround for the Kansas City Chiefs on defense, and that offense still has Patrick Mahomes, still has Tyreek Hill, still has Travis Kelce. It is still a top 5 offense. I think they are wildly dangerous. It would take an absurd feat from Justin Herbert and this Chargers team just to slow them down, let alone win. I like Chargers -3 or Chiefs -3.5. Raiders at Browns. We just talked about this game. I said don't bet on this game. This game is going to be a disaster, right?
I mean, maybe do bet on this game. Maybe just bet the Raiders.
Yeah,
you know?
I think.
Like 1.5 points. Here, I'm going to read a list of all the guys who we're recording this on Wednesday. Game is on Saturday, who are likely to be out in this one. Baker Mayfield, John Johnson, Malik McDowell, Austin Hooper, Jarvis Landry, Wyatt Teller, Jedrick Wills, Anthony Walker, David Njoku. You have damn near your entire offensive line out, your quarterback out, 3 key defenders out, 2 key receivers out. Like, you're not a team anymore. You're the Texans at that point.
No,
I'm kidding, but kind of. And your head coach is out, cannot be even at practice this week to like install the game plan. Like there's a lot going on that's too much of a mess. I don't care for anyone. Like that's a lot to overcome.
I am scared to still bet the Raiders, right? I think
they hurt you too much.
The Raiders have hurt me, man. The Raiders have hurt me. Also, for the Raiders, Denzel Perryman, the linebacker, Trayvon Mullen, corner, Darren Waller are all not expected to play in this game.
Yeah.
Like their team maybe doesn't have COVID across the board, but they're hurt.
But they're second.
They're not good either.
Yeah.
This is tough. I don't want to bet. My official stance is do not bet on this game. And honestly, if this continues to swing in the Raiders' direction, bank on maybe Baker Mayfield sneaking a negative test in there and they actually swing back in the Browns' direction. I like Browns' money line right now at +1.5.
Go for it.
I'm doing it. Patriots at Colts. Colts are favored by 2 at the start of the week. That number is now out to 2.5. People betting the Indianapolis Colts, the Saturday night showdown for the Indianapolis Colts. So far, 76% of the cash is on Indianapolis. Why? Is New England not the better football team? Is Mac Jones not the better quarterback in this game? Better quarterback, getting 2.5, yes, on the road? I don't know. I don't know why I would back.
Talking in rhetorical questions?
I don't know why that either. I don't know why I would back the Colts here, though. I'm not big on the Colts here.
Yeah, I think they both they play the same game, right? Like they play a similar brand of football. But I just think the Pats play better at this point. And the Pats secondary matches up far better, I think, than to kind of slow down what the Colts do than the Colts defense, in my opinion. I don't know. I agree. I think the Pats are the slightly better football team. And I don't think home field advantage is worth that much in this case. So give me the Pats.
Taking Pats too. We're both taking the dog there. I'm excited to take the Pats. I think Patriots, man, that's another team that has a firm control over the number 1 seed. This is one of their bigger games down the stretch. I think this is a massive one. I think they get on the road and beat down on the Colts. Jonathan Taylor's over-under is at 90.5. Mm-hmm. Do you like the over there? Probably near guaranteed to get 15, 18-plus carries in this one. Do you see a over 9.5 for Jonathan Taylor?
Dropping that on me. I gotta think about that one.
I'll let you think about it. Maybe I'll circle back.
I think under because I think they're behind.
Okay.
I think they have to throw a little.
I think so too, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Before we get to Panthers at Bills, and then we have some ugly games to get to. A lot of big spreads. Panthers-Bills is a 10.5 point spread. Cardinals-Lions is 13. Jets-Dolphins is 9.5. Cowboys-Giants 10.5. It's going to be a gross stretch here. Before we get there, X-Chair. Working from home is more important to me now than ever. Optimize your home office with an X-Chair and many of our X accessories to enhance your focus, productivity, energy, and comfort. Once you feel the customized support of X-Chair's patented, dynamic, variable lumbar, there's no going back. It's all in the LMX massage and temperature regulation, exclusively designed and made for X-Chair. With versatile comfort and extraordinary design, X-Chair fits any space. High performance, quality engineering, extreme comfort. Those are all the reasons I love my X-Chair. Now I can't wait to get back to work. And sometimes, even if I'm not working, I sit in my X-Chair just to get that feeling. Go to xchairtailgate.com. That's xchair, TAILGATE.com, or call 1-8444-XChair for $100 off your first order. X-Chair has a 30-day guarantee of complete comfort, and you can finance your purchase for as little as $30 a month. xchairtailgate.com. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the link in the description below. Panthers at Bills. Bills are 10.5 point favorites over the reeling Carolina Panthers. This is a massive spread, but I'm not betting Matt Rule and the Carolina Panthers. He might play all 3 QBs this week. Might be a mix of Cam Newton, a mix of PJ Walker. Sam Darnold was practicing this week and activated off the injured reserve. I don't have faith in the strategy in Carolina. They're still, I think, reeling from firing Joe Brady. I think this offense is scatterbrained. Bills, yeah, it's 10.5. Yeah, you have the hook over 10. I still like the Bills here. Betting Panthers this week sounds awful. That just sounds like an awful game to sit through on Sunday. I refuse.
Well, I will be taking the Panthers.
Why?
I think they match up well defensively. Stephon Gilmore is back, healthy, starting, and playing like a number one cornerback. That's like what you need, in my opinion.
No.
To go up,
you know what they fucking
the
need is a quarterback. They need a quarterback.
Well, I mean, that's what you need to slow down the Bills. What you didn't let me finish there. I know the Carolina Panthers need a lot on the offense side of the ball. Not debating that. But I think Stephon Gilmore is going to follow Stephon Diggs. And I think it's going to hold up well enough. I mean, he's allowed 35 yards all year long, 107 coverage snaps, and 90.0 coverage grade. Like they got clowned. They're getting clowned for the trade because they were, quote unquote, all in. But like he's been well worth whatever they paid for him. So give me the Panthers to cover a big spread with that inconsistent Bills offense.
I don't think that matters. I don't think that matters enough. Obviously, Stephon Gilmore has been good. Obviously, limiting Stephon Diggs would be great. But I still feel that the Bills can do anything against that defense. And offensively, Carolina...
They can run? They can't run against...
Well, they can't run. They don't have to, though. They don't have to run. Okay. I think the Carolina Panthers offense would be lucky to score 10 points.
Hey.
Lucky. Bills minus 10.5. Arizona Cardinals at Lions. I got on this podcast, said I was ready to join the Red Sea, and was let down by Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. And now you tell me DeAndre Hopkins is out for the regular season. He only has a 13% target share this year. Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, Zach Ertz all have a higher target share.
It's been far more true. Like air raid sort of distribution.
So distributed.
Everyone gets,
The highest rate
gets fed.
You think about people, receivers with the highest target share in the NFL right now. Cooper Kupp over 30%, Devontae Adams over 30%, DJ Moore at 30%. Cardinals don't have anyone over 17. Christian Kirk leads the team in target share, and it's at 16%. It's a really well-spread offense. However, I still think the DeAndre Hopkins loss is massive. It might lead to Andy Isabella playing snaps, which we don't want to see. Dan Campbell. Yes, we do. We are backing Dan Campbell this week. I was going to join the Red Sea. I said I was. I like Detroit plus 13. I'm not picking them to win at home. They still have Kyler Murray. But at plus 13, and I think this number has actually gotten out to plus 13.5. If you can get it at 14, take it. I like the fighting Detroit Lions. I like when you throw fighting on every team.
Nope. I hate that.
Even with 74% of the cash on Arizona, I'm backing Dan Campbell's Lions with DeAndre Hopkins out.
I am probably making the mistake of doing so as well.
Oh, God.
It's the Cardinals' second lowest graded run defense that gives me pause in taking them to cover 13. Now, run defense, rushing offense, we're not necessarily swaying games, but like the Lions have been able to move the ball on the ground of late. Even against the Broncos, they kind of did. Jared Goff, obviously, a little scary. Ever trusting him. But yeah, just give me the Lions here at home. I'll take it a little bit.
Let's go. Let's take some dogs this week, Mike. What do you want to do for the games this week? We never hang out on Sundays now.
Yeah, well, I'm usually just I don't know what we want to do. I really want to go to the sports book out in Indiana.
I went with Eric once. It's awful. It smells like cigs.
Every casino, I have a take about this. Every casino outside of Las Vegas is the worst place on earth.
It's a cesspool of degeneracy.
There's like a casino that's just a slot casino next to the gym I go to in Kentucky. Is that what's called?
It's called a Slotsino.
I've heard of racing. I've never heard of that. But it's just like slots and like table game. It's a really, and like everyone going in is either on oxygen, has a walker, is over 100 pounds overweight, and is 50 plus. It's honestly just, it's one of the it has to be one of the saddest places in America. I refuse to go in.
I was there on Sunday at like 9 a.m. or it was like 10 a.m. before the games.
Yeah.
If you are grinding out the slots at 10 a.m. on a Sunday, you are an absolute monster. Because I don't understand the addiction. I don't understand the interest in
you're not,
grinding slots.
Let's just say, and you're not still up from the night before.
That's
like that to me is more of a reasonable thing than waking up early and being like, first thing you want to do is go put 25 cents in a slot machine and pull.
Because there's no decisions, right? Like I understand some of the addiction stuff when like you're making informed decisions on the game or you're making informed decisions in poker. But the slot stuff I don't understand because like you don't do anything.
Yeah.
It's like the lotto, but like a consistent lotto. You're just like another chance. You're just like addicted to the luck and the hope maybe.
Yeah. Just like play on your phone or something.
Yeah.
There's no difference, is there?
You can make money. Quinn, I think you'd have a unique take. Quinn, I think you'd have a unique. Yeah, because you literally like statistically don't.
Yes.
Like, with slot machines.
You are
because it's a computer.
Guaranteed not to.
Quinn, I think you have a unique take on non-Vegas casinos. And
what I was going to say about Hollywood, the sports book that you're talking about, is just to clarify for everybody listening, you can still smoke in that casino.
Yeah,
it's in Lawrenceburg,
which is a
Indiana.
disaster.
I don't know how many casinos you can, because like the casino down here in downtown Cincinnati, you can't smoke in. But the Indiana casino, just imagine kind of, rural Indiana folks that can smoke in a casino and like, picture that. I will say though, have you guys ever been to Boogie Nights there?
No.
Boogie Nights is fun as hell.
Is Boogie Nights?
There's a club/bar in the casino that's like modeled after like an old school. I can see the disdain in Austin's face, but it's like an old school like disco thing, and it's actually really. You got to go get banged up at the casino. I don't know if I just roll up there,
sober,
but it's fun. It's worth checking out.
I'll consider it.
That's my unique take.
I guarantee one, Austin will never go, and two, the one thing we didn't talk about in that whole conversation of like everything was better or everything's better than it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Smoking in restaurants and bars
is better.
No, not having it.
Yeah.
Like the fact that 30 years ago there was no such thing as non-smoking bars. Like every bar in the country was a smoking bar. Had to be kind of brutal.
Yeah, that had been awful.
Yeah, you come back after like smelling like smoke every time you wake up.
Yeah.
After a night out had to be.
Everyone just always smelled like smoke.
Yeah.
And it was kind of that was a disaster. I know the youth movement. I sound like an idiot. Cigs inside has been a common hashtag in some social media. Like, how? Why are we getting back to this?
Well, vaping is way cooler than cigs anyway.
I forgot vaping is cool. I don't want to have the conversation about my opinion on vaping right here, right now, but I do think that was good discourse on how non-Vegas casinos are an absolute disaster. Texans at Jaguars. Speaking of disaster, I'm not watching this game, Mike. I'm not watching this game.
This is a repeat of the game of the year from week 1.
I'm not watching this game.
Why not?
Jaguars are favored by 3.5, and I could not fade them as favorites more. Did you see the story that came out today?
Would you rather watch the game or just a live feed of Urban Meyer?
A live feed of Urban Meyer.
Yeah, same.
That's a fact. A story came out today from TampaBay.com where former Jags kicker Josh Lambo said that Urban Meyer kicked him during warmups and told him, "Hey, dipshit, make your fucking kicks." And then Urban Meyer denied that's ever happened.
That's good advice, though. He really should make his fucking
Imagine
kicks.
Kicking another adult as your primary job. That's insane. Every story just keeps getting one up.
Shots fired at kickboxers. I mean, they need
that
to make a living
was
too.
the worst joke I've ever heard you say on this podcast. I like Texans money line. I like Texans plus 3.5. I do not see a world where the Jags have a positive impact on the NFL.
Yeah,
I also don't want to root for Herb.
Just say next game.
Jets at Dolphins. Big spread. Dolphins favored by 9.5 over the hapless Jets. Can I read a tweet to you?
Let's go. Yeah.
Deontay Lee,
Okay.
who is a analyst here at PFF and one of the smartest people here at PFF. I love this tweet from him. I say that to say this. He sucks. This is on Zach Wilson. I've watched every game of Zach Wilson this season. Maybe he will suck less later on, but the Jets have to treat this offseason as though they're building an offense around a QB that sucks. Deontay Lee is somewhat reserved when you talk to him, but that was the most aggressive tweet I've seen him send. He was like, no, this guy sucks, and the Jets need to plan on building an offense around a QB that sucks. Zach Wilson, I think, has to retire.
You don't build an offense around a QB that sucks because
he sucks.
If he sucks, you're going to suck. So, I mean, you build the offense with the anticipation or hope that he doesn't suck. That hope that, with basically the strengths that you saw on tape at BYU come out at some point. But I don't think there's any debating the premise of right now, he sucks. He looked like shit last game. We said that. That's probably his worst game of the year. But there's no all for naught sort of ness about his game. He's a rookie. He's halfway through, or a little over halfway through his first season in the NFL. No one besides Baker Mayfield peaks at that point, Mm-hmm. So go back and look at everyone's darling, Matthew Stafford, and his rookie season. He had a 45.8 grade. He had 13 touchdowns compared to 20 interceptions and a 53.3 completion percentage. If you want to have kind of who else? Derek Carr was absolute ass his rookie year. Like, there are certain guys who it was terrible. Now, the vast majority of guys who come out and are shit year one, like this level of shit, stay shit. You know, like even Jared Goff kind of had some fool's gold there, but I think we're pretty comfortably saying Jared Goff's not a top 25 quarterback in the NFL at this point. But, you know, the Josh Rosens of the world, the EJ Manuels who come out and are bad, a lot of times stay bad. But there is a track record of guys turning it around. It is not impossible. So, at this point, you're not going to cut bait on Zach Wilson, but I will not bet him in this game. That's a roundabout way of me saying that him against Brian Flores' defense right now, the way they've been playing of late, is nightmare fuel. Last time around, they did cover this number. That was with Joe Flacco. So
different story. I'm sorry, but I did not listen to a ton of that. I was reading more of the Urban Meyer article, and I can't get off of it. Lambeau said that the kick was about a 5 out of 10. And he told him when he got kicked, don't ever effing kick me again. And Urban said, I'm the head ball coach. I'll kick you whenever the F I want. Did none of this stuff come out before because he was winning? Like, there's no way this is the first time Urban has done some crazy dumbass shit, right? But I feel like the leaks don't start until you're taking fat L's, right? I think once you start to lose a ton of games, it's easier for players to not back some of these strategies. But initially, right, it's like he's winning everything. I don't care if he stabs me. You know what I mean? Like, it's like it's working, winning. Right?
They weren't winning at any point this year.
I'm saying with Ohio State, like, there's no way this wasn't happening before. There's no way he gets to the NFL and he's like, you know what? I'm an asshole. There's no way. Like, and this had to have happened at the collegiate level. Maybe he wasn't kicking legitimate children, but like, there's no way this just sprung on, right? I think this has to be the only reason it's coming out now is because the Jags stink. Yeah. And he's dealing with 30-year-olds.
Lambeau got cut by the Jaguars.
Fair.
I mean, absolutely. So
hell hath no scorn.
A bit of an axe to grind here, but yeah.
Interesting. As for the Zach Wilson stuff, I agree. I'm not backing the Jets here. I was looking this up for one of the Miami Dolphins beat writers that reached out to me a handful of times. Or I think it was a Jets beat writer. Zach Wilson against man coverage this year is a 40.5 PFF grade. It's the worst in the NFL. He's also taken more sacks when facing man coverage than any other quarterback in the NFL. He's also the least accurate quarterback in the NFL when kept clean. He has not had a lot of success. And when you aren't accurate with the football consistently, especially from clean pockets, you're going to struggle against man coverage because the windows are tighter and you got to get the ball placement has to be pristine. Yeah. This is a situation where I'm betting Dolphins even at -9.5. They're at home. I think Brian Flores and the Miami Dolphins run man coverage at the second highest rate in the NFL. And I think they might even turn it on more, knowing that Zach Wilson and this receiving core, right, like is inexperienced. I think this is a big win for the Dolphins.
I do think there is a conversation. The conversation right now around Zach Wilson should revolve around the fact that Joe Douglas did not bring him in, some sort of mentor, older quarterback, been around the block, to basically show him the ropes of how to be an NFL quarterback. Is, I think, the biggest L of Joe Douglas's tenure to date. Like,
can't spell
the fact that they had to then trade a 6th-round pick for Joe Flacco mid-season it was too late at that point. You know, like to be so confident in this kid coming from where he did at BYU and the situation he had, that you just thought, you know what, this guy, day one, he's going to be fine. He'll figure it out. It's like, no, everyone needs, like, I always have thought that one of the downfalls of the mid-2000s Green Bay Packers was when they got rid of Charles Woodson and their secondary kind of went to shit. When you have a guy that is that level of respect and professionalism, like, it impacts everyone and develops guys in a way that a position coach cannot. And I think that's something that they definitely missed at the beginning part of this season through training camp, whatnot, is getting someone in Zach Wilson's ear to show him how to be a professional in the NFL, because he's just too far behind the 8 ball now.
Before we get to Cowboys at Giants, DraftKings football fans, I'm sure we all love an action-packed, high-scoring NFL game. So does Urban Meyer. But with the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you'll be a winner once a single point is scored. New customers who bet just $1 on any NFL team to score can win $100 in free bets. It's that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on the NFL action. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PFF. Bet $1 on any NFL team to score and win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with promo code PFF this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years or older. New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit, $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Cowboys at Giants. Giants are 10.5-point dogs without Daniel Jones. Before we get into this game specifically, when I was looking into the Zach Wilson stuff, Daniel Jones ranks 34th in accuracy or on-target throw rate from a clean pocket this year. He's the least accurate quarterback from a clean pocket since he entered the league. Daniel Jones, even if playing, has not been successful this season, hasn't been successful in his career. And guess what? The Giants are starting his backup. Mike Glennon has not played well either. This is a very tough situation for the Giants. They're 10.5-point dogs for a reason. It's another one of those games where Cowboys are objectively the better team. I think more than 80% of the cash is on the Dallas Cowboys in this game. I am not going to sit there and bet Mike Glennon. I won't. And I am fading the New York Giants. Yeah, 82% of the cash on Dallas. I'm riding with the nation.
Hold your nostrils, baby. This is the one this week. Just imagine that to offensive line trying to pass protect against this Cowboys defense right now. Just think about it. Think about how it's going to go with Mike Glennon back there and see if you want to put your money on that. No, give me the Cowboys.
I'm going to skip this game now. I'm ready to move forward. Football team at Eagles. The Eagles are 7-point favorites over the football team. Is that too much?
I mean,
that feels like a lot.
It's the COVID. Come on. Everyone's got COVID on Washington.
But none of the like the quarterback doesn't, or I guess their backup quarterback does. Do you think that warrants enough?
Matt Ioannidis. You got Cornelius Lucas. You have Kendall Fuller. You have Jonathan Allen. That's a lot of impact players. You have Montez Sweat.
Yeah, the defense is fucked.
You have a lot of players who are impact players. And again, it's like you would almost, you of all people, would not care if Taylor Heineke was the one on the COVID list.
That's true. That's true.
You would not think that should move the line.
I actually got a lot of really positive DMs from Washington football fans after that whole spiel I had in the last podcast about how it's not that cool to like Taylor Heineke. And they're like, hey, I'm a Washington football fan, and I don't like Taylor Heineke. I'm with you. But I appreciate what you said. People agree. People were like, why are people...
you got tons.
Well, I got a ton. Okay, like 2 or 3. But I think there are people that like to like Heineke for dumb reasons, and they agree with that.
All right. Well, this one, there's just too many guys in COVID right now. We're too far out for me to have a real solid take on this game.
I think that's fair. This line opened at -4 in favor of Philly. It's moved to now, obviously, -7. 81% of the cash bet on this game is on Philly, but green line season edge right now on Washington +7. I won't bet the game now either. I think that's fair. But if I had to bet it now, I think I would take football team +7. Even with the COVID cuts.
Do it.
Titans at Steelers. This might be one of the better games. Titans need a win. Mm-hmm. They can't keep falling here. Mm-hmm. I know they're coming off a win over the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they need to show some life, some legit life. Whereas the Steelers also need to win this game. They're clinging to some playoff hopes potentially. Yeah. They're at home and they're a 1-point dog. Why should I not bet the Steelers? I kind of want to.
I love the Steelers in this game. Titans, obviously, still ridiculously banged up. And the Steelers, I think Big Ben's turned a kind of a corner. I think he's kind of had that sobering, oh shit, this is it moment. I better, do something. I better turn things around quickly. I don't want to go out like this. And he's had 2 of his 4 highest graded games the last 2 weeks. He looked legitimately good in that 4th quarter against Minnesota. I am banking on that being a trend as opposed to a flash in the pan. And I think this Steelers team honestly rolls.
Is it a this is it moment for Ben, though? Because I feel like he goes in the film room and he sees that throw that he made against the Vikings the other night. And he's like, I still got it. Maybe I'll stick around for another year or 2.
There's no way that the Steelers want him back.
Yeah,
There's no way. There's no way. As good as he's been, he's won Super Bowls, whatever. There's no way. I think Tomlin would kick him before he freaking brings him back. Honestly, take a page out of Urban's book. But
don't throw any fucking picks.
Stop throwing picks. Bang.
Yeah.
I have also been thinking about a joke to tweet about the Urban Meyer kick situation, but I can't think of one. Part of me wants to say, Shad Khan has gone out and said that he doesn't want to, he wants to kick this can down the road with Urban Meyer, potentially not fire him right after the season. That's part of it. But I think I want to think of it, maybe let it simmer.
Yeah, brainstorm a little bit more on that. There's something. I mean, it's a good situation. There's always something with Urban. There's always a take to be had.
Yeah. Falcons at 49ers. 49ers are 9.5-point favorites. This is one of those bigger lines that I kind of like Atlanta in. But here's the thing. I've said that before. I've said I like Atlanta as dogs more probably than any other dog on this thing. But 9.5's a lot, man. 9.5's a lot. This is not a COVID situation, right? Like Matt Ryan is not out because of COVID. Kyle Pitts has actually been really good. He hasn't scored a ton. I think he only has 1 touchdown this season, but he has been really talented. One of the highest graded rookies each of the past few weeks. I like on the road. I like the Falcons plus 9.5. I just don't. There's too many big spreads that I've already sided with the favorite on, right? And I know favorites went up big last week. I think 12-1 last week. I think this is where the dogs rise. And I'm going to give Falcons as one of those dogs.
Yeah, I just think it's 9.5 points for the 49ers. Like, they're a solid football team, but are they that good? Like a 10-point win? Good?
What's the implied?
Over another, now, the Falcons, when they go down, they get down bad. It's ugly. Mm-hmm. It can get ugly for them. But I still do think that that's a massive line for two teams that right now would be playoff teams. Atlanta would be your 7, right?
I mean, the implied point total right now is Niners 36. And I'm high. I'm missing the implied point total here. I have to redo the math. I'm going to come back to that. But I think that the 49ers have to score way too many points to be 9.5-point favorites. I don't think they do.
It's 28-18.
28-18. I think the Falcons score more than 18. I don't know if the Niners can make that play.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Titans at Steelers. No.
Back up for Ravens.
Bengals at Broncos.
Oh, Bengals at Broncos.
I skipped it.
Skipped it.
Bengals at Broncos. Broncos favored by 2.5. Here we go. AG fading the Bengals again. I like Broncos minus 2.5 with the Bengals, and they're back against the wall. Why? Zach Taylor is not changing his stripes. This offense is not going to throw the football when it needs to.
Did you see, though, he did say post-game he regretted the first and second down runs in overtime.
He said that?
He said that post-game. Maybe this Tiger.
Wait, he regretted him just in overtime, not when they went down 20-6?
Not the other ones. But
not in the first 3 quarters when they put him down 20-6?
But he did say he regretted, though. So maybe this Bengal is changing his stripes.
I will say this. If the Bengals throw the ball, this is legitimate. The Bengals throw the ball on more than 55% of their early downs in this game, they win.
Such a low bar.
That's such a low bar. I'm not asking for a lot. In the fourth quarter of that Niners game, they threw on 84% of early downs.
Yeah.
I'm asking for over 55%. That's all. I don't ask for a lot. If they throw over 55% of the time on early downs, I think they win this game. The Broncos have a good secondary. They have a good defense, but I still think the Bengals are the better team. Now, if they continue to play the same brand of football they've played all season long, the Broncos are going to win because they aren't using their best weapon. It's like having your best weapon in your back pocket and you don't use it until you're down 20. And that's just not enough. That's not enough, especially on the road against a good Denver defense.
I trust, though, back against the wall Burrow. Him saying
he better audible.
Him saying this week.
He better audible some passes.
Him saying this week that every game's a must win now. That sort of he didn't give a Aaron Rodgers guarantee, but he didn't give a run the table, but he might as well have. He probably did in the locker room. We just don't know about it. So I trust Joe Burrow.
You trust him?
Trust him.
I just don't trust Zach Taylor.
You don't trust Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor proved me wrong. Okay, I said last time, I will join the Red Sea if they win this one. Bengals, you throw on more than 55% of your early downs on this one? 55%, which would be like the 20th highest rate. I mean, not even crack the top 16. You do it, I'll join Bengals Kingdom. What is it? What the fuck is Bengals?
It's the jungle.
The jungle. I'll join the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle.
Jesus.
I will join the jungle. I will join
Flock
the jungle.
Nation.
They don't even have to win. I don't care if they win. Just throw the ball more. Throw the ball more on early downs, and I will join the jungle. I have a Joe Burrow jersey. I might get a Jamar Chase one. I'll get a Jamar Chase jersey.
Just get the homage shirt that says the jungle, and you got Paul Brown.
No.
Join the jungle. That one's cool.
How about no?
I like that one.
I get the shirts I want to get. You're not joining the jungle. Did you say you're going to join the jungle?
I have a Bengals jersey already.
Doesn't it say your dad on the back?
It says, yeah.
What is your
Number
Bengals?
69 says dad. Yeah.
That's terrible. That doesn't
It's a
count.
good one.
It's an old one, though. You got to get an
I know I do
updated
have to get the updated
2021
one.
jersey.
That one's from like 4 years ago.
Packers at Ravens. Ravens are 5.5-point dogs at home. It's I think I read unlikely that Lamar Jackson plays, or is he still trying to stick it out?
Well, yeah. So they signed Josh Johnson this week.
Oh, they're fucked.
Which
That's the
telltale sign of
the proverbial white flag.
That's good. That's a good way to put it. Well, good analogy there, AG. And yeah, and that's making me go Packers. And even if they had Lamar Jackson, shit, I'd go Packers. I think this offense right now is cooking, and the Ravens, like, you're not going to fool. You might fool Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think you're going to fool him consistently enough. And the way they win in terms of getting pressure on opposing quarterbacks is via the blitz. And yeah, you got you got some backups on this Packers offensive line, but I don't think the Ravens have a ton of guys who still can win one-on-one as pass rushers to really just get home with 4. At that point, they don't have anyone that's going to cover Devontae Adams with Marlon Humphrey out. So give me the Packers.
I can't bet the Ravens with the uncertainty at the quarterback situation. Yeah. And if Tyler Huntley plays this game, I think this number should be like 7.5. The Packers will dump truck him. This defense is good. Like, this defense is legit.
This is your dump truck of the week?
Oh, I didn't bring out the Tonka. Let me scroll back here. What's my dump truck? You know what? I think that's an unfair dump truck, though. It has to be on a closer spread.
Your mom's my dump truck.
I'm giving the Chiefs. I like Chiefs. Dump truck of the week is the Chiefs. They're only 3.5-point favorites, and they're on the road Thursday night. I think they're going to uproot Brandon Staley and the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm bringing out the dump truck. Quinn, you're doing the post pro now. Give me a little Mack truck.
I gotta know which one you gotta tell me ahead of time which one's the dump truck of the week.
I screwed it. Next
but
time.
Yeah, I can get a dump truck. Yeah.
Find me a dumpy. All right. Packers at Ravens. No, Seahawks at Rams. Rams 5-point favorites at home over Seattle. I put in my notes the Rams are back. Stafford back. This defense without Ramsey looked good against a very good Arizona Cardinals team. I don't know. 5 points is always a lot against Russell Wilson, but this Seahawks team outside of him has been bad. Maybe outside of him with Lockett and Metcalf. I like Rams -5.
Yeah, the last time I liked the Rams -5 as well. And this Rams defense, this is the defense that has been giving Russell Wilson fits. Like, they kind of started the trend of how to play also Russell Wilson. And this deep attack, the Seahawks in this rivalry have not scored over 20 points in the last 5 games of it. That's no bueno. That's no so bueno. So give me 5 points. You got to score 25 if you're the Rams to cover that. Yeah, take it.
I like it. I like when we're on the same side.
Yeah.
Saints at Bucks. Bucks favored by 10.5. My notes say kill me. I don't want to. Some of these spreads are ridiculous. Like, it's a bunch of games where, like, the Bucks lose. It's an absolute disaster. Saints are starting Taysom Hill, right, at QB in this one, but he's banged up. He's got a finger issue. I like Bucks -10.5. I don't think, there is obviously this whole discourse around the Saints defense has Brady's number and he's going to struggle. I think that doesn't show up this week at home. I think Raymond James Stadium brings out the good in Brady, and the Saints do not shut down Tampa Brady.
I think it's a real thing. I think it's kind of a real thing.
Okay.
Because it's happened the last 3 regular season games. So I've not the playoff game last year, but give me the Saints 10.5. It's a big spread.
The Urban Meyer jokes on Twitter are phenomenal right now. I wish I was a part of this. Vikings at Bears. Bears +3.5. Why aren't the Vikings favored by more? Are they the best, worst football team? Like, they're the best bad football team in the NFL?
What's your best bad
losing
football
record
team power
worse?
rankings right now?
Yeah, let's look it up.
They're right. They have to be. Like, that's a good football. Should be a good football team. Like, how many teams are below 500 that have a quarterback playing well right now?
Not a lot.
Yeah,
not a lot.
Like that. I think that's the biggest thing.
Raiders, but Derek Carr's even struggling.
Carr has taken a big step back. But of the top 9 quarterbacks on PFF,
maybe Seattle. I mean, Russell Wilson.
But he was hurt for a while.
Yeah, fair.
And even he came back and played like shit. So of the top 9 graded quarterbacks, he's the only one on a team with a losing record, or even on a team that's 500.
Yeah, so I think any team with 6 or fewer wins, I'm calling a bad team right now.
So yeah, give me
Raiders, no. Panthers, absolutely no. Lions, Texans, Jags aren't even in the conversation. Jets, Dolphins are 6 and 7. Maybe they're up there in that tier of.
But again, you had a quarterback get hurt.
True. Russell Wilson got the injury. Yeah, I like the Vikings as the best, worst football team, and I think they cover the 3.5.
I do too.
Shall we get to the mailbag and the trivia?
Let's do.
Before we get to trivia, or do we want to do mailbag first?
Let's do mailbag first.
All right, before we get to the mailbag, Western Southern is a proud sponsor of this podcast, if you did not already know. Want a chance to win the ultimate game day feast? Whether it's football success or financial savvy, winning starts with asking us questions. Would you like to know what it's like behind the scenes with Al on Sunday Night Football? How about a need to know for your financial future? Western Southern is teaming up with PFF's very own Chris Collinsworth to share insights that can help put you ahead on both your fantasy and financial scoreboards. Every submission earns you a chance to win the ultimate feast to celebrate football's favorite Sunday. We'll cover your catering up to $2,500, coordinate your order from a restaurant near you, and have it delivered on February 13th, 2022. And don't forget to check out Chris Collinsworth podcast and Western Southern Instagram for answers to the best questions each week. Submit your questions at westernsouthern.com/askchris. One more time, that's westernsouthern.com/askchris. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the link in the description below. Remember, with Western Southern, you can rest assured on game day. $2,500. What restaurant in Cincy are you choosing to cater your big day?
I wasn't listening.
$2,500. What restaurant are you choosing in Cincy to cater your big day?
Does it have to be one restaurant? Because the best is if you get a combination. You got to have a smorgasbord.
No, I'm limiting you to one.
Limiting me to one, 2,500.
Ruby's. Fuck it. And do it with like 4 people.
That's not what you want.
That's why not? Just a dime.
You don't want
feast. Just
steaks on Super Bowl
what's
Sunday.
wrong with steaks on Super Bowl
Their
Sunday?
raw bar's fire. That would be the way to go.
I like
Get
it.
a bunch of oysters.
Dude, you could do it with like a nice intimate group of 8 people and get like a really nice feast. Now, if I was going to blow it out and you got 20, 30 plus people, you obviously start to consider wings. You start to consider pizza
I
even.
feel like you have to have wings. I feel like you have to have.
The correct answer is Mount Lookout Tavern, but
Yeah.
And
We haven't
Hopkins
been there
wings
so
are
long.
Fantastic.
say whatever you want.
The one time we split 50 there, thinking
was
we were going to get to
gross.
50 wings, and we made it to maybe like 45.
I love the sauce caddy approach to wings, though. Here's 6 sauces and a little caddy.
Yeah.
And they're all dry, and you come in and you like those
Sauce it up how
motherfuckers
much
up.
you want.
That's the move.
Because there's nothing worse than when you have like a wing just covered in sauce.
Over sauce. Or if the sauce is bad, right? Then
Yeah.
you're screwed. You're all pitted. You're pitted.
Fun fact, I have a sauce caddy from MLT.
What?
I went in there and I was like, hey, do you guys sell these? And dude, it was one of the managers that I know, and he like looked at the guy that was there. He's like, yeah, sure. And they had an extra thing and they filled them up. So fun
and they
fact,
filled them up?
you can go
got
buy
the sauces?
a sauce caddy from MLT if you really want one.
Dude.
Because they are good. They have some fire sauce.
Dude, their sauces are heat.
Yeah.
Ah, that sounds like a good play.
I'm trying to think.
Maybe I'll get one for the office.
I love that.
I'm trying to think of like, I don't know. Everything I'm thinking of is like not a traditional game day food that I would go to. Like,
Screw tradition.
is a very good like sushi and like Japanese restaurant.
I've never
I mean,
been.
and it's great. And that was, but that's not like a game day.
I will say, wings
And
kind of.
you can't just do knockback nats, which are the best wings in my opinion in Cincinnati, because all they have is wings.
Yeah.
So
Well, they have fries and they have tater tots and they're terrible.
Hanky pankies are good.
What's a hanky panky?
maybe just wings and hanky panky.
Shit on a shingle.
What is the shit on a shingle?
Then we'll just have to go there and get it.
What
It's a
is
very
it?
Midwest thing, I feel like.
Is it something you get under a desk or like how's this work? What is a hanky
It's like
panky?
a little piece of bread with like a sausage cheese mixture on top of it.
Yeah.
It's good. Your face is not saying it's.
I had them once there.
They haven't knocked back Nats.
That's not one.
All right. No. Mailbag. Lad McConkey.
Oh, yes. So I forgot to get to the guys last week. Georgia guys, underclassmen. Lad McConkey. All right. So it was Lad McConkey and Keely Ringo. Lad McConkey, the wide receiver, redshirt freshman.
Say the name again.
Lad McConkey. He is 6 foot, 185, and white. What do you think his comp is?
Wes Welker. Danny Amendola.
I mean, he's Hunter Renfrow. The guy honestly,
wow.
and it's not wrong.
Wow.
He's very similar, yet he is a little faster, I believe, than Hunter Renfrow.
Not a high
Obviously
bar.
not the technician yet that Renfrow is, but this guy's good.
Really?
I'm a fan of him. I think he should be used more, honestly. He had the screen touchdown against Alabama, if you guys remember that. Big fan of his. Keely Ringo, not as much. Cornerback, big dude, 6'2", 205. To me, he's probably going to be more of a safety at the NFL level. Like, he's just a big guy who kind of sits on dudes. I think his speed and his hips are kind of meh, I'll say. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, wouldn't be surprised he moves to safety. I do think he's physical. He's a good tackler. Some stuff to like, but he's more like college cornerback good to be, like I said, maybe a safety at the NFL level. But he's also a redshirt freshman, so he could develop.
I love that name more than any name in football.
Lad.
Lad McConkey. Is Lad short for something? Laddie? Lattimore? Ladster? Lad
Is he
Nation?
just
The Lad C?
Scottish? I don't know.
Next mailbag question. CFB committee less than sign taunting on Apple Podcasts said, thoughts on Louisville linebacker CJ Avery. Also, how much does leadership make up for skill/talent in a player's draft stock?
Well, according to AG, that's
massive.
That's everything.
It's not everything. It's massive, though. I think it's huge. We had Bruce Feldman on this thing, and he talks about Aiden Hutchinson. One of the first things he brings up is like, this is a guy that changes your locker room. This is a guy that can actually move your franchise forward from a culture perspective because he is that.
See, I don't think it makes up for skill/talent.
It doesn't make up for shit, but it matters. I'm not saying it makes up for anything. You can be the biggest leader all you want. If you stink, you're toast.
So yeah, that's my thing. It
I
doesn't
think it's
make up
a
for
cherry.
deficiencies. It's the differentiator between who
exactly
makes it and doesn't.
You can't be. So a good example of this, in my opinion, is actually, do you remember the Giants linebacker Mark Herzlich, who played on special teams for 10 years, who survived bone cancer and played for, I think, Boston College before. That guy had all the leadership and grit in the world and stuck around the NFL for a long time. He worked harder than anybody. He survived cancer, bro, but he wasn't good. Yeah. But he still stuck around the NFL for 10 years, and that matters. I think it could help with longevity. But that is an example of that was one of the hardest working people probably ever in the NFL. Stuck around you've never started at linebacker or rarely started at linebacker unless it was injuries because he wasn't good.
Yeah. So I don't think it makes up for it, but it is a big thing when you're comparing, dudes that have skill and talent. So back to CJ Avery, Louisville linebacker. He's 5'11", 227. He is on the smaller side. Now, he has fairly long arms for a guy that size. Don't know just yet, but on tape you can kind of tell that that's not deficient in that area. But he's just not like the athlete you would expect at that size. Doesn't really play with urgency, and his kind of standstill burst is just meh. And now he's a good tackler, he's a physical dude. To me, he's probably late day 3 UDFA type from watching his tape.
You hate to see it, dude. This guy comes in, listens to our podcast, and he's like, "Oh, any chance you could talk about Louisville linebacker CJ Avery?" He's like, "Yeah, he stinks."
Fuck. You want me to be journalistic integrity or not? What?
That's fair.
What do you want?
Broken Alley on Apple. I like that name.
I'm not a journalist. Also, I just want to clarify that.
You're not anything. You're trash. What name? What name would you pick for the Washington football team? What should they do in the draft for free agency?
Oh shit. I just focused on the what name part. So here are the 8 names that got the final list of what they could be. It's got to be one of these names.
You think? I don't know.
No, this is what they released this. They released this and said they're going to be
from them.
Yeah, Washington football team released this. The Red Hogs, the Defenders, the Armada, which, wow, the Presidents, the Brigade, the Commanders, the Red Wolves, the Washington football team. So just stay at football team would be the last.
Would be sick.
My favorite of those is the Red Hogs.
Of course. And then it's going to be everyone's favorite.
Then you have Clifford be your mascot.
No.
Clifford's the big red hog.
Well, it's got to be a dog because that's what my dog gets whenever he gets excited. Fucking wind blows wrong. Red hog.
Wind blows. He's got a hog.
But I still
Clifford
like Red Hogs.
And Clifford was the mascot. I support it.
Clifford and the big red hog. But no, I like the Red Hogs. I just think it's cool. It's got to be Red Hogs.
What are your rankings? Give me your top 3.
Red Hogs, then Red Wolves, and then Presidents. I think Presidents.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Presidents is in your top 3? Are you stupid?
What was yours? Defenders?
Red Hogs, Red Wolves, and then I'd honestly say Washington football team.
No.
I would not. If you call yourself the Defenders, maybe I include Armada, but like all of those stink. It
really is like a terrible list besides Red Hogs, Red Wolves.
Yeah, and then football team, just stick to it. You've already sold merch on this thing. Might as well just stick to the brand. I think Red Hogs will ultimately be it. They obviously have the hog background because their offensive line back in the 80s or whatever was called the Hogs. Hogs are easy to brand. I think people would flock to it. You know what's interesting is that you see, I think in basketball and NHL, even baseball, they might have this, where they just have mascots that are just like random shapes. Like you've seen the gritty mascot for, I think it's the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
It was just,
It's just nothing,
random
right?
shape.
And then there's the Braves mascot is like legitimately like a...
Well, the Phillies have a weird-ass mascot, too, who's just like the green guy.
Yeah, so I kind of like that. Can I say I like that?
The Philly Fanatic is just a green something. Yeah, that's like a common minor league like baseball. Just have a random
but
mascot.
it's also in the major leagues. Yeah, this is the Braves mascot. His name is Blooper.
Nice. Well,
hold it up
to nobody.
Let the camera see it.
Yeah.
That doesn't help anybody, but maybe you can stitch it on the YouTube. Braves mascot is Blooper.
I do think
and
more
I
creative
support
mascots
that.
is good.
Yeah,
where it's just like a random ass shit like Purdue Pete, who just carries a sledgehammer. That's a sick.
That's cool.
sick
I think
mascot.
the Boilermakers
is
guy
like nightmare
is dope.
fuel, but
yeah. I think the Red Hogs getting a mascot that's just like, here comes Bloney, and he just comes around, and I think people would like that.
And it's just like a wild boar.
I've had the conversation that I think I would make a phenomenal mascot.
Oh, you would? Yeah, you could get people going.
I would absolutely crush a mascot opportunity.
You could be a leprechaun.
What the fuck is this? It doesn't have to be like that.
There's a height maximum for the leprechaun, actually. You can't be
at
above.
Notre?
Yeah. I think it's 5'9". Can't be above 5'9".
That makes sense, right? You're not going to have some 6'6" monster out there leprechauning it up. I also don't think anyone over 5'9" would ever want to be the leprechaun. All right. This is from Kenny D3429 on Apple Podcasts. I'm a Browns fan, but not sold on Baker. Welcome, every Browns fan. If you were the GM, what would you do?
There are Browns fans that are definitely sold on Baker. It's not every Browns. Yeah.
Really?
But continue.
If you were the GM, what would you do this offseason? I'm taking a shot on Kenny Pickett, but can also see grabbing Garrett Wilson.
At this point, you have to be sold on Baker. This is your window. Like this year and next year, with his fifth-year option being only $18 million. Like, in my opinion, drafting Kenny Pickett, and now I don't think they'll be in a position to. I think he'll be gone before that. Or drafting one of these quarterbacks, like, it kind of not maximizing your window. And especially when, like, you have Baker, but you really don't have a receiving core around him. And obviously you had Odell Beckham, but, like, that was not working out for reasons outside of talent. Like, you have Jarvis Landry, who's a solid slot receiver, but not a vertical threat. You have Anthony Schwartz, who's just a vertical threat. Like, you have this oddly put together receiving core that is not what you would call like a full complement of weapons for Baker Mayfield. So I think your best bet, like you said there, Garrett Wilson, give him a full complement, try your damnedest, and if it doesn't work out, then you're in the quarterback market. Because, like I said, this is the window you're playing for. A quarterback in his fifth year should be playing well enough. And then if he's not, obviously you're hoping he's fully healthy, but then if he's not, then, well, shit, you fucked up. But Kenny Pickett in year one's not taking you to a Super Bowl either.
Yeah,
the problem there. And you have a roster that's about to get expensive. So, yeah.
I would agree with you, right? I think you don't commit to him long term. You give this thing, you squeeze the last bit of juice out of this, and if it doesn't pan out, you move on the following season. Mm-hmm. All right, the Tasty Brownie number 3 is the name of the person that wrote this on Apple Podcasts. He's a huge fan of the pod, and he's a diehard Lions fan. You hate to see it. And since our first win against the Vikings, I'm drinking all the Kool-Aid. I love it. Is the rest of the NFC North on the brink of collapse? Yes. Mm-hmm. Vikings are literally cleaning house. Are likely clearing house after the season, 4th worst cap situation in the NFL, and losing plenty of defensive talent after the season. Packers have the 2nd worst cap situation in the NFL. Rodgers is nearly guaranteed to leave after the season, probably losing Adams after the season. Can't tag him with the available cap. Bears are definitely firing Nagy and likely firing Pace. They don't have the 2022 first rounder. They have one of the oldest rosters in the NFL. Akeem Hicks and A-Rob are free agents. Can't tag them. Fields isn't developing fast enough to keep up with the roster, hemorrhaging talent. Lions are the 2nd youngest roster in the NFL. They have the most draft capital in 2022. How do you think we can use our cap space and draft capital the most effectively?
So yeah, the problem is you still don't have a quarterback. That's like, yeah, you're in a good spot with the rest
I liked his
NFC
rationale there.
Yeah,
I kind of like, hey,
spot.
Vikings are cheeks. Packers could lose Rodgers. Bears are still cheeks.
The Bears are not going to turn things around in 2022. The Vikings are not going to be better in 2022. I don't see avenues to them getting better, that much better in 2022 than they are this season. They're below 500 this season. Packers, I don't think are going anywhere. I think Rodgers is going to stay.
That's selfish.
I think Devontae Adams might go, but they're still.
No way Adams goes if Rodgers stays. Period. And I don't think Rodgers stays.
They can clear space in certain ways. I think they can fit those guys under. Obviously, going to mortgage a little bit of the future, but I don't think they're going anywhere. So Packers still at the top. But the thing is, you're 1-11. You're a roster that obviously decimated with certain injuries, but you still need a quarterback. So you're not kind of like this 1-year fix. You're kind of still a 2-year fix, and you're in a very good spot to, if you draft well, if the young guys, Okudah comes back, if you hit on, say an Aiden Hutchinson, to where you could be. All you do need then is the quarterback. But again, a lot easier said than done. So I think it's going to come down to the 2023 draft, or if you do draft a quarterback with their first rounder in 2022, how he develops. But I do think they are in a better position right now, I'd say, than maybe like the Vikings with their roster, and maybe even the Bears in their roster, because they've paid so much for so long for all these free agents. And mortgage draft capital, not drafted well at that, and don't have much draft capital this upcoming draft, to where, yeah, I think the Lions are in good position, but they just need to make smart decisions as opposed to, the whole Bob Quinn era.
I still like the hope that he brought to that.
Yeah.
That guy typed out that Apple podcast review and was like, buddy, we're coming back.
Than the Vikings and Bears right now. If
Aaron
you're telling me
Rodgers,
which team of those three is going to be the best in 2023, I could be talked into the Lions. Now, I think the
quote graphic.
Packers are
Max, producer Max.
That was such a tame take, but the Packers aren't going anywhere.
Can you restate it? If I was going to pick a team in 2023 to be the best in the NFC North, you would pick the Lions.
No, I said I could be talked into them.
Oh, you could. Okay, never mind.
That's why I said it was a tame take.
All righty then. This is from. Doesn't tell me who this is from. Oh no, this is your answer. This is from PBuck81 on Apple. Fellas, love the pod. Very personable, very knowledgeable. My question is regarding what you believe is the Patriots' best moves this next offseason regarding the receiving core. Spent a lot of last offseason, but lacking a wide receiver one. Do you think they try to look to add even more depth, try to make a big push for a free agent like Godwin, or do they try to draft a receiver or two in the draft?
Yeah, the problem is they kind of just spent a good deal of money this past offseason on
Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, on a lot of weapons. So going out and then just saying, hey, let me go get
another
Chris Godwin too.
Allen Robinson, Devontae Adams.
I don't think they're going to. Just Bill Belichick's history has not been to invest there. Now, I do love the fit of either a Jahan Dotson or Garrett Wilson in that offense, what they can do, how they would fit. So I think that is where you go. Obviously better than I like the fit him to kill Harry in that offense. So I think if you want a wide receiver, that is where I would go to, because I think those guys are also polished too. Like we've seen the kind of trend of early wide receivers hitting the ground running. I think those are two guys that could be NFL ready in that regard.
This is from TM at 211390 on Apple. Let's do some self-evaluating and some evaluating of your co-host. What do you think is your biggest draft bias when it comes to evaluating prospects, and what is your co-host's biggest bias? Example, Austin loves with the players who's been on the podcast, which is not untrue. You go ahead and self-evaluate.
Yeah, I like undersized athletes. I don't care what position it's at. The guys like, whether it's, the 5'9" wide receivers that run 4.3s, the what's his name from North Texas last year?
Jalen
Darden. Or whether it's the undersized edge guys that are quick. Like, I too often fall in love with guys who just are not big enough to fucking play in the NFL or do a lot in the NFL. I feel like you can fall for a good sales pitch on the pod. A guy really can talk you into a lot.
Yeah,
that's your.
I think that's unfair to call it a sales pitch. I think I definitely fall for players that are smart, carry themselves well, have legitimate presence about them. That
lunch
pail, blue collar types. I definitely think that's one of my biases. As for your bias, undersized athletes is not what I was going to go with. You also like bigger defensive ends, right? Like you like some of these bigger guys that win with power. I remember the LJ Collier love that you had.
I was like 50th on the draft board.
Whoa. Okay. The LJ Collier love, some of the Jerry Tillery love. I think there's that would be where my bias sits a little bit, or where I thought.
What about any player that's ever played at Notre Dame?
No, there's a bias there too. Obviously,
that one's obvious.
Chase Claypool. Did not love Chase Claypool.
Chase Claypool's been good.
I know, but it's a big weirdo.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair enough. This is from Paolo 101 on Twitter. Mailbag question. You're stranded on a desert island. He spelled desert right, which you have to respect. And can only have film from one college and or NFL game. But that includes any film type, broadcast, all 22, Mannycast, ESPN Deportes. I like that he included that. Which games are you keeping occupied until help arrives?
Oh, so I picked one game. I picked the 2010 divisional round game, Packers, Falcons. It was the best game. It was just the best game. Aaron Rodgers played the best quarterback. It was the best quarterback performance I've ever seen in my entire life. He went 31 of 36 for 366 yards with 3 touchdowns. He was just literally not missing throws that entire game. It was unbelievable to watch. I would take the all 22 from that game. The Tramon Williams pick 6 right before the half was like it was probably the most excited I've been at any play ever in my entire life. That was a great game. So there you have it. Not even the Super Bowl in that one, because that Super Bowl was a little tense. Made some dumb mistakes. That game was just.
I might go back to a handful of Raiders games in the 2016 season when I was still like relatively like committed as a fan. The Pinky game against Carolina, Khalil Mack has the pick six. Derek Carr leaves because he gets hurt, but he comes back. He wins that game. There's also the week 1 of that season where Crabtree wins on the 2-point conversion on the road against the New Orleans Saints. That one's fucking sweet. And then if I was feeling like a real dirtbag, I'd watch the Indianapolis Colts Raiders game on Christmas Eve where we dump truck the Indianapolis Colts, win by more than 30, but Derek Carr breaks his leg and ruins the hopes. Yes, just like as like a, like a
back to reality.
Yeah, just could really put myself back into reality. So, and maybe just that play, just the play of him breaking his leg. Donald Penn allowed 1 sack that season, and it was that sack.
That's
insane.
That offensive line.
That's
was
insane.
great.
That's insane. Last one here before we get to trivia. This is from Aaron Hagarty. Question for the mailbag: who are your most fun to watch guys that people are not talking about enough? And are you going to Ireland for Nebraska Northwestern this year? I've been asked this a lot. I've been asked like at least, and when I say a lot, like 4 or 5 times, are we going to the Nebraska Northwestern game in Ireland? I don't think we can make it happen, but it would be sick.
We should go. No, we should do. We should go to Notre Dame Navy 2 years from now in Ireland.
We're not going. The Notre Dame is not. Why are we? No.
I mean, if we're gonna go to Ireland, gonna go watch Notre Dame play in Ireland. I'm gonna go watch fucking Northwestern.
Nebraska Northwestern is a shit game.
Yeah.
But Navy Notre Dame also won't be that great either.
Well, Notre Dame's gonna be playing, so
all right.
We'll at least be
Give me some of your fun to watch guys.
Fun to watch guys. Sky Moore, podcast guest.
Yeah.
Western Michigan wide receiver. Channing Tindall, Georgia linebacker. I'm going to call it right now. Should I call it? I think he's going to run the fastest 4 div A1 linebacker in this class, Channing Tindall.
Wow.
He might run the low 4.4s. That guy can fly.
Undersized athlete?
Undersized athlete.
So is Sky Moore?
Damian Pierce, running back for Florida.
That guy's sick.
Very sick. I don't know how he didn't get more run in that offense. Only 87 carries this year, but I think he 39 broken tackles and 87 carries. Like, he is legitimately a borderline top 5 running back in this class and barely got used for Florida. And then Kirby Joseph, the Illinois safety, has some awesome picks on his tape. And my favorite, was watching him play gunner on special teams. This guy gets after it. Big fan of his game. So
also a friend of the show.
Also a friend of the show. Those are your 4 fun to watch guys that people aren't talking enough about.
Man, I am trying to think if I could add one to this list. He just decided to go back to school, but Jalen Catalon, I talk about undersized athlete for Arkansas, is a very fun to watch player. I think people aren't talking about him probably for the right reasons. He's going back to school. He will not be in the NFL draft.
Stop talking about him.
I'm done talking about him. Other people I'd add to this list here. I think you have some good coverage there.
Thank you.
Have some good coverage. Darian Kennard, maybe. I think Darian Kennard's an undergraded road grader. I think Ike Ekwonu is stealing a lot of that.
He gets talked
Daxton Hill. Is Daxton Hill getting talked about enough? That player is fucking sick too.
There you go.
Another fun player to watch. All right. Trivia. Quinn, rip it.
Perk Angel's back.
Oh my God, our king, our literal king.
He is the king. He leads off every episode too. He's got to.
I
So
miss
Perk
him.
Angel, keep him coming.
We need to know his real name, or do we?
No, I like Kirk Angel.
All right.
Okay, yeah, we'll call it. He's Perk Angel. It's better to keep us in suspense. But Perk Angel wants to know if a QB is not selected first overall, it would break a 4-year streak. The record for most consecutive drafts with a QB taken first was 5 from 2001 to 2005. Name all 5 QBs.
01 to 05. So Mike Vick kicks
Yeah.
it off. Eli Manning's in there.
Yeah, he's in there.
Alex Smith was the last
Alex
one.
Smith is in there.
So it's 02 and 03 that we're missing. Man,
It's a little early for me. I was 7 years old.
come on, 02 and 03.
I was young too when these guys were taken. We were all young.
Carson Palmer.
Yes.
And then 02. Shit, why is it so hard? I'm trying to think of teams that had picks around then. I'm just thinking Browns is what keeps popping in my head. No, not the Lions. I was going to say Joe Harrington, but I don't think that's not right.
I'm out on this one.
Come on. 02.
Austin, you should get this.
02.
Oh,
NFL
Jamarcus
draft.
Russell.
No, it's not Jamarcus Russell.
who is it?
But there is a Raiders connection.
Andrew Walter? No. Andrew
No.
Walter was our first round pick. Kerry Collins.
Negative.
No, come on. Who's the 02 first overall pick?
It's Raiders connection. I'm trying to think. Jason Campbell?
Negative.
I don't even know who number 1 picks are in 02 and 01.
01 was Vic.
02 is what we're looking for?
Yeah, we're looking for 02. I'm going to get it.
I have no idea. Who is it?
What was the team?
David Carr.
Oh, God, I'm an idiot.
Not Derek,
stupid.
but David
We're
Carr.
stupid.
So loose Raiders
was bad.
connection. But
That was good.
yeah.
That was good. That was good.
Mike
bad
Vick,
on
David
myself.
Carr, Carson Palmer, Eli Manning, and Alex Smith.
Lovely.
All right. Next one. Alabama became the 3rd school since
Perk
2000.
Angel comes with some good questions.
He does. I don't know where his source is. Maybe he's got like the sports almanac. Like
I'm a
in,
huge fan.
Back to the
I'm
Future.
embarrassed
But
by
yeah,
the Carr one.
Perk Angel, keep him coming.
That was bad.
Alabama became the 3rd school since 2000 to have consecutive Heisman winners with Devontae Smith and Bryce Young. Name the 2 other schools and their Heisman winners.
They became the 3rd school.
Yeah, that was the 3rd school. So
Ohio
there was-
State. Archie Griffin won back-to-back years. Does that count?
No, not Ohio State.
He won back-to-back years. That should count. Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush.
Yep, 2004, 2005.
And I'm trying to think here. How far back we got to go?
Not far.
Not far back.
Don't overthink this.
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma, Baker,
Ky-
and
yeah,
Kyler.
Yeah, Baker and Kyler. There you go.
I was overthinking. I was going way too far back.
All right, last one. As a true sophomore, Bryce Young has to return to school next year. Besides him, there have been 7 Heisman winners since 2000 to return to school the following season. Name 4.
Johnny Football,
Yes.
Jameis Winston,
Yep.
Matt Leinart,
Yeah.
because then Reggie won it.
Wow.
Return to football next year.
Couple more. Not that long ago.
Man,
I don't know.
Tua. He didn't win it. I mean,
No, not Tua, yeah. But who won it that year?
Kyler did, right? Fuck, who else?
I'm out.
Thinking. All right, I'm out. Who else?
So the last ones you guys could have got, Mark Ingram,
I was going to say
Tim Tebow, Lamar Jackson is who I was looking for. He won it that year. And then going way back, or a little bit way back, Jason White at Oklahoma. That's it. That's all I got.
Or the baggiest jeans in his.
Know your co-host. You go first.
Oh, all right. Let's see. Oh, mine was at my heaviest weight, within 5 pounds. Either way. How much did I weigh?
265.
No, that's way too heavy. It was 230.
Oh, wow. That's heavy.
265 would have been fucking big.
That's big.
Yeah. 230.
Mine is, I had a sack celebration in high school. What was it?
Oh, man.
It was lame. And in hindsight, I wish I never did it. And honestly, I wish one of my parents shot me. But this was it.
Did you do like the shocker? Did you hold up the shocker?
What? No.
What'd you do?
I liked Clay Matthews a lot. And
You
Clay
did the
Matthews.
flex.
Yeah, but I did it like
then
this.
Oh,
But I only did, it was the worst. I did a flex and like I'm like 5 foot in high school, like 5'7", 5'8", not big flexing. I look like a moron in it.
The best sack celly ever was a Packer. Was not Clay Matthews. It was Gilbert Brown, and he did the gravedigger. He would dig.
I've seen people do that before. The best sack celebration is Jared Allen when he hogtied.
No.
That was sick.
No, Jared Allen's a hardo.
What do you mean? That one where he'd rope him and then be like, that one was cool. I thought that was sick.
Hardo.
You're just a freaking Packers fan loser.
yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Tailgate. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And if you want to leave Apple Podcast reviews, go to Apple Podcasts, leave a review. Or if you want to join Perk Angel in freaking podcast fandom, submit his question through Twitter DMs, follow PFF_tailgate, and go from there. Until next time, Austin Gayle, Mike Renner, Tailgate.